All right, here we are. Number 4. You've made it through overtrading, indicators, position size, and now we are on to a very important one. Not that they all aren't, but this one's really important. And that would be a trade plan or lack thereof. Most traders, unsuccessful ones, don't have a trade plan, at least not one that they trust enough to use all the time. That's understandable. While you're learning, you're going to go through a bunch of different types of trade plans. But you should always pick one that suits your personality best and then stick to it and work on it and refine it to fit your needs and your desires and your style of trading, but don't deviate too far from your strategy, right? And what a trade plan includes, as far as referencing an actual trade, there's always 3 parts to every trade plan, okay? Number 1, let's first consider the fact that we've all heard the whole adage of proper preparation prevents piss poor performance, okay? And basically that's another way of saying prepare yourself for whatever it is that you're doing so that you can do that thing better, controlled, and all of the stuff that comes along with planning, right? But part of every plan, as I told you just a minute ago, there's 3 parts to every plan. And in trading, there needs to be an entry, a stop, and a profit, right? So we want to know where we're going to get into the trade. We want to know where we're going to stop out if it doesn't work out for us. And we want to know where we expect to take profit, okay? And all of those things should revolve around a strategy, all right? So make sure you have a strategy, but then trade your plan. The beauty of a trade plan is that it will help with your emotional control in that trade. And what I mean by that is in order for you to come up with your trade plan, you're accepting during the planning process that it may not work, which is a thing that a lot of people don't really think about, which is crazy because if you don't think that the trade has a chance of losing, then you won't even consider a stop loss in the first place. It sounds trivial, but it's really important, and it's kind of crazy because no trade setup has a guaranteed success rate, meaning it's not guaranteed to win no matter how good the setup is. So you should always plan for the event, albeit maybe unlikely, but that it could go against you so that you're prepared if and when it does, because it will happen. If you don't plan for it, you won't be prepared for it. And then that loss turns into a potential hold and hope, which, well, we've all done that too, and very easily gets away from us and gets to become a catastrophic loss. If you're not trading the proper position size, it's definitely catastrophic, as we talked about in the video before. Speaking of which, if you haven't watched the previous videos, go check them out. There will be links all over the place, but you should watch all of them because these are all reasons that people are struggling to make it as a day trader. All right. Now, I am a firm believer in the fact that no trade should ever sneak up on you. And what do I mean by that? Well, I mean that you should always be prepared in advance to take whatever trade it is that you take. Yesterday was a perfect example. I pointed out a trade 17 minutes before it became a trade. I do it every day, not usually that far in advance, but minutes before it happens. And it's not difficult to do if you're trusting the chart, right? We know where support is, we know where resistance is, and we can spot an uptrend or a downtrend, and we apply a couple of rules to, that are part of our strategy to stack probabilities in our favor, and we play the odds. And that's basically all trading is. We're playing probabilities, right? But unfortunately, when you have no trade plan, you're playing emotionally. And as we have come to find through the previous videos and through your own trading, emotions don't always have our best interests at heart. Okay. In fact, emotions cause us to do pretty stupid things on a pretty regular basis. And that's why we need to minimize them by taking fewer trades and planning every trade we take and playing a responsible position size and not relying on things other than our own knowledge and ability. So all of those things are part of emotional control, which you need to conquer in order to become successful in this business. But I can tell you this, as a guy who's been trading every single day for a solid 4 years at this point, that every trade I take is exciting when it's going in my favor. It's frustrating when it's not. The adrenaline always pumps, the heart rate goes up, and all the things happen, right? But as you do this for longer, especially if you're more on the consistent side and you've gained that confidence and everything else, then you don't hesitate and you feel comfortable doing what you're doing, even though it's still exciting, it's exhilarating, all these things, because who doesn't like making money? And if you like making money, then you certainly hate losing money. So everything that goes with trading gets attached to those two outcomes, because those are pretty much the only outcomes that exist in this business. You're either going to make money or you're going to lose money. And we hope that we make more money than we lose, but you have to have a portion or a plan that tells you where the extremes are. Because when you make that plan, then you're accepting and acknowledging that if the trade doesn't work, here's my threshold that I'm willing to give it a chance for, or stop loss. And if it does what I expect it to do, then I'm going to take profits when we get here. So there should be no surprises in that trade if you've planned it. Now, if you find yourself getting into trades like YOLOing to trades or yeeting into trades or FOMOing to trades, there was no plan attached to that, and you're more than likely going to mismanage that horribly. And that's how we go backwards in this business, right? Yes, there will be plenty of times, not even plenty. There will be times that you get lucky, right? There will be times that you get lucky. We all get lucky from time to time. But luck is not sustainable. Luck is not going to bring you consistency. And more often than not, if you rely on it, luck is going to bring you an account balance of zero. So always plan your trade. If you don't have time to plan it, then don't take the trade. If you don't have time to plan it because the move happened too quick, or you were at the bathroom, or you're at your job, or on a phone call, or whatever, don't take the trade. Okay? The stock market is going to be there long after we're done trading and long after we're gone. So there's no rush. There will be dozens of trade opportunities throughout the given day. Okay. And if there's not, you've got to learn to not trade those too. That's also part of your trade plan. If your plan says, I'm going to get in when we cross this line, and we don't cross that line, then you don't get in. You don't get in. You've got to stop and think. Gather your faculties. Wait for the chart to present you what you want. And if it doesn't happen, then you don't take the trade. Okay? Guys, everything we're talking about in these videos comes down to controlling your emotions, which requires discipline, because you need the discipline to follow the rules. And you got to have rules to avoid over trading and creating an emotional mess or roller coaster for yourself. And again, I believe that if you don't learn to do that, you're never going to make it. I think that's why most people fail in this business. It's not that you don't understand the technicals. It's that your emotions take over. And that's why algorithms and not people are managing billions of dollars in these hedge funds and firms. There's nobody on the other side trading that stuff. It's because we're not cut out for that as human beings. We have feelings, we have emotions, we're not dead inside. But we can manage them by properly preparing for our trades. Okay? And I'll leave you with this. This is not a very long video. It doesn't need to be. I'll lead you with this. If you fail to plan, then plan to fail. All right? Just think about it. Think about it. Watch the other videos. Really watch them and be honest with yourself. Ask yourself, do I overtrade? And when I do take more than one trade a day, do I usually make more money or lose money at that point? Start keeping track of that kind of stuff. Start finding out if you're relying too much on indicators. Keep track of how often those indicators provide you with a winning trade versus a losing one. Find out how long those indicators are keeping you in a trade that you end up giving up too much of the profit you already made, which creates a whole different scenario. How many trades have you been in that you were very green, you allowed it to pull back, but you stayed in because of whatever reason, but you're nowhere near as green as you once were? You're still green, but what do you think happens there? You think you forget how green you were at one point? You sure as shit don't. You say, man, I was up $100, or I was up $1,000, or I was up $1,500, or $800, or whatever the number was. It was greener than it was now. And you're going to tell yourself, man, I should have took profit when we were there. And when we get back there, I'll take it the next time. If it doesn't get back there, you just became a Holden Hoper. Cheers. Thank you guys for watching. The next one could possibly be the most important bullet point of the 5 points that you're struggling to progress as a day trader. And that one is a lack of confidence. So thank you guys for watching. I will catch you in the next one. I love you. See you.